right. Um, Nora, thank you so much for joining the podcast. Just giving us a little bit of your time. This is awesome.
I'm happy to be here.
But
I'm fascinated by your hat collection. That's all I'm looking at behind you.
oh, thanks. Much like you, wear many hats. Uh, but let's get into it. The over the top intro. We do that for every guest that shows up here because we're so super glad to just have you guys in our podcast. So let's just jump into it. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is award-winning actress known for her roles in Heroes, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Grey's Anatomy, Mad Men, and The Right Stuff. And what we're here to talk about today, The Boneyard, released on demand on July 2nd and in select theaters July 7th. Nora Zehetner, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. That was quite an intro.
No, I mean this. Look, real talk, you have jumped in some of my favorite TV shows and movies, so this is like a treat. And I like to apologize on behalf of my man Don Draper, aka Dick Whitman. There's no way he should have yelled at you like that. He shouldn't have
No,
fired you. All you were trying to do is get Sally Hare together before he came home. The whole purpose is his fault. He came home early, if you think about it.
I
So,
agree. I agree.
so
Yeah, it was entirely his fault, and she probably was cutting her hair as an act of rebellion, and I can't be faulted for that. That's on the parent.
but he did give you one of the coldest lines of the series, and I didn't like that because you should have had a comeback. One of the coldest lines of the series, he hands you the money, and he's just like, treat this as severance. And credits. I'm like, oh no, that's not fair.
Oh, I know. So mean, right?
Yes. But we're here to talk about the Boneyard today. And um man, this is so great. How did you get attached to this project?
I just was sent the script and I had a meeting with the Asif and we had a good chat about it and he kind of explained to me what he was trying to do and yeah, and then I was lucky enough to be asked to do it.
That's awesome because like when you played Detective Young,
Mhm.
um in Boneyard, it's like this. It's even though I talked to Asif a little bit earlier than you, and he said it's not necessarily your characters are based on real people. It's like an
Right.
amalgam of a
Yeah.
lot of the people in that time. But Detective Young is such a badass. So there was so many things about Detective Young that where she follows her intuition.
Mhm.
What was it about that character, or did you go straight off the script, or did you have a little play with it as well?
Well, it was interesting because actually that character was originally a man. So it was written pretty differently in the script. And so we spent some time kind of adjusting it to it being a woman, which is a very different thing. A female detective is very different than a male detective.
Right.
So it was nice to kind of have that collaboration and get to uh, kind of create that together and just yeah, I mean I think that she is somebody who's really on top of her job and tries really hard and is a straight shooter and 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 isn't going to back down.
Now, one of the things, now I'm wording my questions very carefully not to
Yeah.
spoil Boneyard,
Mhm.
but there are some things within the movie where Detective Young and one thing I love about Detective Young is unlike everyone else, straight shooter, not shady. Everyone else has this like dark, secret other life.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Detective Young is like protect and serve, and here we are, and what we do. And but that one of the cool things about that because you need that moral compass. In a
Yeah,
weird way, you were kind of the moral compass for a lot
yeah.
of your co-stars, and I worded that correctly so I didn't spoil anything.
No, I
How
think
do
I
you
think you did. I
feel?
think you did a really good job. Also, it takes a woman, right? It would be the woman. So
Yeah, because there were some actions you did where it was just like, man, come on. Like meeting other people's family members behind their back.
right,
Yeah, just
right,
to make sure, he isn't crazy,
right,
essentially.
right.
So I will ask this. What qualities do you see that you have in Detective Young or Detective Young having you or vice versa?
I think she's rather tenacious. I think that I mean, I like to think I have a pretty strong moral compass. I like to think that I try to be on the side of what's right. And I think she's probably a bit more type A than me. Uh, and yeah, those are probably the main ones.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
you think you have anything in common with Detective Young? What would those qualities be?
Who, me?
You.
Very little. For starters, no, I'm kidding. I try to be a good dude. I try, but I'm not. I don't know if I would be. I don't know. I think because there's a part where, let me word this right. She should have just took his word for it
Mhm.
before she's because Detective Young got a little nosy because it just didn't sit right with her.
Yeah,
And I think if that was me in that point, I just would have just like, all right, whatever. You
right,
say you got it, and I would have just left it alone.
right.
But I think that's one of the differences between me and Detective Young. I would just would have took his word for
That's
it.
fair.
Now during the movie, now one of the coolest parts about this is even though this movie is about a lot of very, very graphic and darker theme stuff, how was the mood like on set? Did everyone get along? Because when you do something that heavy, I would imagine you guys got to like, break the ice a little bit or, blow off some
Yeah.
steam or something.
Yeah, no, it was like a very nice set. Uh there was some levity in between takes. It was kind of a quiet set. I think sometimes when you're making a movie in a short period of time, like everybody's just so on it and they just have to like you just have to keep going and making sure that you're just like ready to go. But Brian and I had fun in between takes. That's who I worked with mostly. A lot of times it was just like the two of us on set. So but we had a good
Okay.
time.
And second to last question, I should say.
Mhm.
Um, what do you want people to take away from your performance in this? Because this is you're a chameleon. I mean, you like I said, you jump into a lot of my favorite movies and TV shows, and I am a grown up. I have just now forgiven Viola for portraying everyone in Hydra. We knew you were working with Malik the whole time, but you're forgiven. We're good
Thank you.
now.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It wasn't me.
It was you. I saw you. But the whole point, I guess my point is like I know you by your characters.
Mhm.
And even to this day, I'm recounting Mad Men and I'm recounting Agents of Shield like it just happened.
Yeah, you're
So
good.
I guess what do you want people to take from your performance in this?
It's so funny. Like I couldn't say what I wanted them to take from my performance because that feels so I don't know, kind of narcissistic. Like I think it's about the movie. I think it's about all of us as one and trying to tell the story. And I hope that the movie kind of shines a light on these true crimes that happen and these women that go missing and which is so heartbreaking. And if I could be a part of telling that story in a way that is dramatically compelling, then that's kind of me doing my job. But I
All right,
don't, I
that's
don't, I
awesome.
don't think there's anything anybody needs to take just from me, from my character, except for, you know, hopefully I don't stand out in a way that is detracts from the movie. You know what I mean? Hopefully I just make the movie.
I understand. So in
Yeah.
about 5 years, when there's another person with an insane hat collection, asks you inane questions about characters that you kind of sort of forgot about.
That
So
was that was not an inane, none of these questions were inane questions. I was just saying that I don't find myself important enough to be able to like give you but I
no, I
like
was
your
talking about
outfit.
me.
Yeah, I know. But also I like that your whole outfit matches your chair. Does that always happen? Is that the way this
No,
works?
no, that's just how today worked. I
It
was
looks like there's
feeling
like
like,
two of you. Like maybe there's like
yeah,
you're a superhero and you have some sort of situation going on.
no, just general laziness.
I like
Um, I just woke up today and I was like, yeah, I want to wear red and black, and there we are.
it.
But Nora, before we get out of here, I know we're up against it. This was a pleasure. But before we get out of here, you can look at this camera, anything on the horizon you want to talk about, or any plugs, you want to plug your social media. It's all up to you. Thank you so much for just giving us a little bit of your time.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for chatting with me. Yeah, no, this comes out, it'll be out everywhere on July 5th, and I have a film coming out in October called Monster Summer, with a great bunch of people, and I'm excited for everybody to see that. Well, it's kind of like a coming of age movie with a mystery, kind of in the vein of like Goonies or something like that. So yeah.
All right, all right. Also, thank you so much. Hey, we wish you the best of luck in everything you do, even giving straight up pep talks to your fake husband, John Glenn, man. That was awesome. Uh,
Thank you.
look, I'm serious. You just pop in stuff I like.
I love that. I love
You're
that. I
not,
love you for that.
are you doing this on purpose? That is my last question for
I'm
sure. Are you
haunting
doing
you. I am like
Okay.
a ghost following you around. I am an apparition. You're just stuck with me. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm good with that.
Okay,
Well,
good.
thank you so much, Nora, for popping by the podcast. You're welcome back anytime. Who knows? You're going to be in whatever I watch later on tonight anyway. So
There you go. See me soon.